Hey guys, welcome to day 2 of the Louisiana lockdown, and just giving you an update on what's happening here at the office as well as what's going on in South Africa. Some of y'all seen some posts, and there's been a lot of misinformation, a lot of stuff going on, so we wanted to make sure that not only the American guys know what's going on, but also the South African makers, because they're going to be watching this as well. And so I just wanted y'all to know what was happening from our end. So while people are joining on, I just wanted to kind of say before I give the updates, I was reading this morning, I'm reading a book by Malcolm Gladwell, and he talked about when the Germans bombed London. And this is when the Germans bombed London, World War II. This is in 1940. In London at that time, there was about 8 million people that lived in London. And there was a huge scare. Basically, the government and the agencies that were in charge at that point were afraid that if the Germans started bombing London, like the largest city in the UK, basically that the estimates were there were about 600,000 people that were going to die, and the Germans did everything that they could to make that true. They actually started bombing London, and for the first, they did it for 8 months. They bombed London for 8 months, but the first 57 days they did it consecutively. So these bombs were going off, and the first 57 days they ended up blowing up millions of buildings all over the UK. But basically at the end, when all is said and done, everybody kind of takes grasp. After the war was over, the psychologists did this study, and there was 3 types of people that were affected. One is obviously the person that died, and just to kind of give you an ending to the story so that you know what happened. 600,000 people didn't die. The fear was by the government officials that 600,000 people were estimated to die through the bombing, but that's not what happened. Actually, only 40,000 people died, and 47,000 people were wounded. Okay, wounded or hurt in some way. And so basically, and this is this whole deal about having the Britons or the English people having a stiff upper lip. This is kind of where that saying kind of comes from. That have basically a strengthening of resolve, because what happened is these 3 types of people. One was obviously the person who died. There was 40,000 people died. We mourn the fact that people died. Obviously, it wasn't 600,000, but it was a significant amount. 40,000 people died. But what happened was there was also another type of person. There was the type of person that actually was bombed or saw something traumatic happening, meaning they saw a family member die in the bombing, or they saw something happen where they were affected, maybe they were hurt or whatever. And so those were the type of people that were traumatic. It was a traumatic experience for them, and they, were hurt in some way, emotionally and physically, and so those are the type of people that basically were affected traumatically. And then the last type of person, that what they talked about in this study, was that the type of person that was it was it was happening, but it wasn't, the bombing happened, but they escaped with no consequences. Not consequences, they escaped without getting hurt. They escaped without basically being there to without dying. They escaped. And what happened is, when they studied these people as they went through it, because millions and millions of people had near-death experiences in these bombings, but then they didn't die. And so what happened is it strengthened their resolve. I say that, I say this story because this morning I just read it, and it made me think of the South African people. It made me think of the knife makers that we work with. It made me think of the guys that are here in the United States that are makers, that are small businesses, and they started from nothing, bootstraps. They just did it, and they said, look, I'm starting from nothing. African Custom Knives, we started basically from nothing, and we saw a need out there, and we said, okay, well, let's help these makers. Let's help these businesses that are out there. And there's sort of resilience you build up, and you say, look, we're going to do it no matter what. And I say that to say this. I'm here. I'm at the African Custom Knives office. We're day 2 of the Louisiana shutdown. I go straight from my house, straight here to the office. The doors are locked. There's nobody else here. It's me. I'm here. I'm going to get some packages. I'm going to wrap them up. A couple of sales happened yesterday. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all supporting not just African Custom Knives. I'll talk about the other makers after this. I appreciate you supporting us. Totally appreciate you supporting us, because what that does is that helps us continue to operate. So we're really, I mean, we're a non-essential business. We're not, my wife is a nurse, so she has to go to work. There's people out there that are providing food services and travel and all the other stuff. I'm gonna come in, just so that you guys know, I'm gonna try to come into the office 1 to 2 days a week. The shipment is gonna be a little bit slower. We're gonna ship everything, just so you know, we're gonna ship everything USPS priority. So, we appreciate you guys. We're gonna do as best we can to get stuff out to you, and hope that everything is gonna go as fast as possible. But if it's a day or 2 late, I just want you to know that we appreciate your patience, because I'm not gonna be in the office every day, but I am safe. There's nobody coming in and out. There's no, there's no risk of infection. I just wanted y'all to know that from our standpoint, because we're gonna be on lockdown for the next 3 weeks in Louisiana. That's where our office is in Louisiana. Some of y'all don't know. We've had some people contact say, how are y'all doing in Africa? We are in Louisiana, but we provide the service. We provide the website. We provide the inventory. We provide everything here at the office in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The guys from Africa ship their knives to us, and we photos, videos, do promotion, take them to shows. We see the NRA show has been canceled. If you haven't seen that post from us a little bit earlier, NRA show is canceled. That was in April. The Blade show, not canceled as of right now, but there are a few issues. I'll talk about that in a second. A few things with the Blade show. Actually, here's the deal. Blade show is still on as of right now. The issue with the South African makers is that the visa office is now closed until May 30th. So if they didn't already get their visa to get into the United States, they're probably not going to come the first week in June. The first weekend in June was when the Blade show is. They're not going to come in. They're not going to be able to get a visa to come in. Now, a lot of guys have already prepared in advance, and they have their visas, and they're able to come in. And so the question then is the travel ban. Is there still going to be a travel ban? Is there still going to be some issues with importing products through customs, U.S. Customs, and Fish and Wildlife? Now, we've been in touch with Fish and Wildlife and U.S. Customs, and as of this moment, there's very few restrictions. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be in a couple weeks or a couple months whenever Blade Show comes around, but we're staying on top of it. We're in contact with them every week, and if we have some people inside that if they do get affected by any reason, they're going to contact us and let us know. So I just want the makers to know that's what's happening right now. And so we're going to basically just keep y'all updated as we know. So Blade Show's still on. Now, we did get an email. Some of y'all have maybe, I sent out an email this past week just saying that we did get a survey from Blade Show asking us if we moved it back to, if Blade Show was moved back to like the last week, I think the last weekend in June, would we still be able? So I guess every person that had a table or a booth got this email. We responded as a survey. I gave them my input. I put down all the information, the concerns from the makers that contacted me about the show, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And so just know I'm trying to represent you guys well, letting the Blade Show know what's going on and what's happening. So if you have any other thoughts or concerns, and this is for the makers, because these are the guys that are going to be most affected by coming to the United States. It costs a lot of money. it costs a lot of money to get a visa. It costs a lot of money to, get a plane ticket to come over here. It costs a lot of money to stay here, for them to get a hotel for every day that they stay here and pay for food and do all these stuff. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy to come from a different country and to come here and to sell your knives and do that. That's why we created African Custom Knives. We created this business to help these makers sell their knives, and to not have to, if they don't sell all their knives and they have to go back to Africa and to reship it and all the other stuff that goes on with trying to sell in another country. We're basically here to service those guys. We created this business. We created this business to service those guys. And so we started out with one maker, and we started out with one guy. And then we expanded. When we launched our website in 2016, we had 6 makers. And so that's basically where we are. We have tried to, over the course of the last few years, just support South African knife makers. Now, the last few months have been a little crazy. It hasn't been easy to sell knives at anybody. I don't think anybody is having a real easy time moving knives. We've seen the secondary market slow down a bit, and then sales on the directly from the maker slow down. And so what we try to do is this. We're going to try to do this. We're going to try to highlight some of these makers over the next little bit. We're going to try to tell you a little bit about their story, tell you a little bit about who they are, and that these are actual makers. This is not like major manufacturing plants that are, usually these guys are it's one guy. Sometimes they'll have workers that work with them, and they can, if they can start, getting somebody to sweep the floors and clean the machines and do all the stuff that helps them make more knives or be more creative or do more. And so some of them have a staff of 1 or 2 or 3 guys, but most of the guys, it's just them. They're dependent on, because right now the economy in South Africa is not that great. That's why they come here to the United States, to sell their knives. Now we sell their knives all over the world through the website, but that's one of the reasons why they come here. They come here because this is a great economy, a great market, and the Americans really appreciate good quality work. I mean, the Americans really appreciate it. And so we've been able to promote, say, hey, look, just get one of these knives in your hand. Just feel it. These guys are doing great work, and they have a great value for what they do. So our job is really just to help them get the word out, tell their story. And so that's why we do what we do on the website, and we tell the stories, and we talk about what they do and how they do it, and anything. So, but what I've seen, and this is when I was reading that story just a little while ago this morning, the resilience. The South African people had this resilience. It's really very similar to the resilience of the Americans. And as I study my ancestors and how they came over and basically started a new country in a new world, and started from nothing, and now have created what we now know as America. I mean, this is it's something that can only be done by people who have strong courage. And I think that's what, if you could describe the South African makers that I know, the people that I know, it would be courage. I appreciate that they are willing to take a chance and to do something and to be creative and to just be who they are. So I'm thankful for guys like Jim Skelton, who posted our video, or made a post for us. He didn't make a post for us. We didn't know he was making a post. We were just trying to tell people about South Africa. Jim, I appreciate you. You just made a post and just telling people about what's going on and that they should support South African makers. So we do have some knives on our website that are available now that you can buy, and you don't have to wait for them to come to Africa. We do that, and we provide that service so that you can get it quickly. Instead of taking weeks or possibly even longer to get over from Africa to get here, we provide that service for you guys. So we enjoy it. We love knives. We love makers. We love being able to do this. So we appreciate guys like Jim Skelton and the guys at Knife Fanatics reposting our stuff and telling people about what we're doing. We appreciate that. Thank you. That it's better. I mean, it's more than what we could ever ask you to do. You did it on your own, and we just I don't know. We just appreciate you so much. So tell you that. I think I gave you a little bit. Visa office is closed until May 30th. We're getting word now that that the lockdown will happen in South Africa on Thursday. So this actually right now. I'm in Central Time Zone in America. It's 10:26 as of right now. They are 7 hours ahead of us. So it's 10:26. So it's actually 5 p.m., 5:30 approximately, where they are in South Africa right now. So in basically, and this is Tuesday, Wednesday, so they got about 2 days, and then they're going to be on complete lockdown. So what they're going to be doing right now is doing what I did this past weekend, which is make sure I have enough food for 2 to 3 weeks. Make sure that they have access. I actually took a lot of the stuff from the office to my house so that I could do this. But then I realized, oh, well, I have to come here at least a couple times a week just to do shipping so that our customers can get it. So basically, I'm going to be here a couple times a week just to ship knives, just for you guys that are wanting to, or that purchase knives, so that I can make sure that I get them out to y'all in a fairly decent time frame. So we're not going to shut down completely, just so you know. We're not going to shut down completely, but I won't be able to ship every day like we had been as of up till this week. So that's set down. So South African lockdown midnight Thursday. Yeah. So we want to support knife makers, and I'm glad. I just saw right here, Chins just popped in and said, thanks, Nathan, and your brainchild African Custom Knives. You and the American collectors are a blessing to us. God bless you all. That is what I'm talking about. That is the type of people who are thankful. They're thankful for us. Anything that we can do, and we try to do everything, but they're just thankful, and Chins specifically. So I wanted to show a few things. This is somebody. Wait, hold on. It says Sharp on the website. You don't give enough information on each knife. A lot of time, blade length isn't even there. I would tell you this: if you don't see something on there, we may have missed it. If you see something that it doesn't have a blade length for some reason or another, contact us, DM us. Really easy to get in touch with. If you need to call us, call us. Their website, phone number, email, all on the website, or you can contact us through Instagram, which I'm on right now, or Facebook. Super easy to get in touch with. You contact us, we'll make sure that you get that information as soon as possible. So it might be a little bit slower, so I appreciate the input. I'll go and look. If you know a specific one where the blade length isn't on there, let us know, because I try to put it on all of them, but sometimes it falls through the cracks. Sorry, we'll try to do better. We're right now we're going to be a skeleton crew, so it's just going to be me. So Nolan's going to help respond to. Chase has been helping to respond to some stuff on Instagram and Facebook DMs and stuff. But it is a skeleton crew, so be patient with us. I appreciate the input, though. Let us know. But today, just to kind of end the stream, I would say this: I'm going to talk about Chins Prinsloo, and I'm glad. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad that he actually got on the stream, and I've seen a few of the knife makers get on the stream and they didn't comment, but Chins did comment. And I would say, if I could describe Chins to you guys in any way, I would say that he's creative, super creative, very unique, does what he feels like comes out of him. So it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna stamp this knife out and hurry up and put a new handle on. It's the same one, and just put a new handle. He never does the same knife twice. In fact, he does things to knives that no one else does. This is, I'll show you, for example, this is my personal knife. see that right there. Now you can see, now I'll say this, he makes his own Damascus. I actually went to his forge, me and my brother, when we started our business, we actually went and visited Chin's at his house, and he has his house, his forge, everything at his house. So if he's quarantined, he quarantines himself into his house, and he don't have to do anything except make knives and hang out. And this is what he does. He gets in there and he carves things into the knife handles. He makes his own Damascus. He just has these creative ideas that come up. So this is the first time I've ever seen this. So a lot of y'all have seen carvings on knives, and you've seen, but how many times have you seen where it just like, it kind of gets raised up? It's 3D effect, and I'm kind of hitting it to the side. You can see this is a warthog with the nose right here and a tusk right there. You know, but it's 3D. You can see the space in between it and all around it. And Chin's, I mean, he just has this creative blend. He does all of this, just carvings. And actually, he'll sit on his back porch. And if you see some of his knives and the stuff that he does, he'll carve this mountain scene. And this mountain and these beautiful trees and these African roses and all these things, and he has. But he tells me, he sits back there and you can see it. You get to his backyard, you can see this beautiful tree, and he carves it. Just sits out there and he carves it. You know, it's just a lot of good God-inspired inspiration. Like that's the thing that inspires him, and so that's the thing that keeps him just kind of always doing something different. Every knife is unique. You're never going to see the same knife twice. Now, you might see a similar pattern. Like he might have, look, well, this is a pattern that works, a folding knife. Like you'll see, this is a pattern that he uses sometimes, that I've seen 2 or 3 knives from. This past shipment, we got 2 or 3 knives. And so this is some of the stuff that he comes up with, but then he'll put different handles. He'll do different carvings on the backspacer. He'll carve on the inside. Some of the things that he does, we're like, well, why did you do that? And he'll say, well, he'll tell us a story about why he made this certain thing. And so this is, I wanted to show you this because this is the COA that he puts with each one. And each one he talks about what it is and what kind of steel and what he was, some of the file work and different things, that embellishments that he puts on it. And then on the back of each one, you'll see right here where he puts his name, right? He puts his name and he says, he always says that, he always writes this, I am not the creator of this knife. Now, who says that? Who says, I'm not the creator of this knife? Well, of course you're the creator. You're the one that made it, right? No, he's thinking in a little bit different way. I'll read the rest of it. It says, I'm not the creator of this knife. I merely present it to you as a fraction of God's creation, slightly altered. So basically what he's saying is, I've taken what God has already provided. I've taken, this is how he is. This is what he thinks like. I'm taking these beautiful things that God has already done. He's already made these things very beautiful. I just happen to take it, alter it a little bit, and present it to you as a gift, slightly altered. God already made everything, and this is the way he thinks, so that you know that whenever you, all makers think a different way, but this is what he thinks. I'm going to make things that are already made. I'm going to just take them and slightly alter them. Just how it is, just how he is. And so he does things like, and what you'll never see, like this is a knife from his African Roses series. Now, we call it his African Roses series because if you look, these flowers all up on here. If you look at the backspacer, he's got like a row of, I don't even know if you can see it. Hold on, let me see. A row of flowers on the edge, just basically just a bouquet of flowers, and carved in it. It's just beautiful. He makes this stuff, and it looks amazing. But then he does things like this. So if you take the scales off, now most people are never going to take the scales off. They're never going to see, you're never going to see the inside and the workings of knives and how they do. Now some people do. Some people immediately just, what they do is they just take things apart. It's like getting a new car and just be like, I'm ripping the carburetor out, right? You start taking stuff out and you start looking at stuff and wondering how it's made and that sort of thing. but most people don't. So what he did was he took a picture. So on that knife that I just showed you, that's on the inside of the knife. On the other side, it's even more. He sends a picture, and that's the scene I was telling you about with the mountains and the animals and everything all on the scene. That's his backyard basically. And so this is what's on the inside of the knife that you'll never see. You might just carry around this your whole life and never know. Somebody's going to get it one day, and maybe you pass away. Your kids inherit it, right? Because these are heirlooms. These are things that you pass on to your kids. This is not something that you just, just gonna throw it away one day. No, you don't throw away a custom knife. You're not gonna throw away a Rolex. You're not gonna throw away something that's going to increase in value, because you'll never get another one like this. You'll never see another one come out. It won't be exactly the same. Even if he did one similar, it won't be the same. And some of you are asking, well, what about, can I make an order for that particular knife? No, you just can't. Now, some makers, just so you know, some knife makers, you can say, look, I like this model. I want this handle material. Can you do it for me? And they'll do it, but not Tunes. It's how he's different. He just says, look, I'm just going to make I'm just going to do I'm going to let God create through me. I'm going to take some of God's creation and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to alter it and make something. Now, it could be this. It could be this. It could be this. It could be this one. I mean, I've never seen another one just like this one that he made for me. Warthog ivory. I said I wanted carbon fiber and warthog ivory. And that's all I told him. And he said, perfect. And he made me this, and it's perfect. And I just gave him some materials that I thought he could use on there, and that's what he does. And so he just creates these things in his mind. But I asked him the story. I said, why do you do that? Why do you do stuff on the back spacer? Why do you do stuff underneath the handle? Like, nobody's ever going to see that. And that's when he told me the story. Michelangelo, when he was painting the Sistine Chapel, he would paint it, and he would paint behind columns, and he would paint in corners, in areas where they didn't have lighting like we have now. This is like years and years ago, where they didn't have, lights or mirrors that you could kind of see behind. They had huge columns and stuff that would hold up the actual building, but then behind it, you didn't really have to paint anything, because nobody would ever see it. It'd be in the corner somewhere where you couldn't see, there was no light to be there anyway, so you could have just like not done it. So what Michelangelo did, he started painting behind columns, in corners, in dark places. And somebody asked him, they said, Michelangelo, why are you painting this in places people will never see? He said, they won't see it, but God will see it. When you start to do things not for the approval of people, when you start to do things and you create knives for a greater purpose, you're going to get more. The person who appreciates it will see more than just a knife. They're going to see more than just a piece that they're going to put in their safe. It's not just a piece of art anymore. It's a part of creation. That's what it is. I've never really thought about it in that sense, but that's what it really is. And so you can actually take something, and there's a lot of other makers that do the same thing, that take something and alter it and recreate it to be something that somebody really wants to carry around. Somebody really wants to say, this is amazing. This is something that I carry this in my pocket. When I need a knife, I use this. It's not something that I just have for show. When you wear a Rolex, or when you wear a watch, a nice watch or something, you don't wear it just for status. You wear it because you need to see the time, and you want something that's unique to you, that makes you stand out, that makes you different than everybody else. That's what a custom knife does. And that's what Chun's is doing. That's what, this is what I'd like to do. I would like to share over the next couple weeks. We got 3 weeks. We're just quarantined. And so I'm going to start doing some lives, and I'm going to talk about different makers. And so we'll talk about it, maybe showcase some of their work. I mean, I took a few knives out from Chun's, fixed blade knives. He makes and this is like, you know, he carves, like this is a bird and trout knife, just to give you some idea. It's a bird and trout knife. He carved a bird in there, in that bronze. Antiqued it, and on the other side, he's got a fish. Bird and trout. It's a trout and a bird. Nothing like, I mean, you can get a knife. You want a knife? You just go get a knife from China. How about you get a knife from China, right? It's sharp, it cuts, it's a tool, but it's not this. This is why you support makers. This is why you support small businesses, because they do something different. They do something unique. They do something where you can say, look, I'm proud to have this. It's not just an instrument anymore. It's not just a tool anymore. It's a part of you. It's a part of God's creation, slightly altered to be a part of what you are, because just what you are, a part of God's creation. That's what you are. And so that's why we support these guys. You know, Cozy Steenkamp, George Mueller. I just saw Taze Meads get on. These are the type of guys that are our friends. We want to support them. This is not just something that we, you know, so when people say, what is y'all's small business going to do? Well, we're going to be resilient. We're gonna step up. We're gonna help these guys out as best we can. And you know what? We're gonna tighten the belt. What do we got to do? I mean, yes, sales are down. It's just how it is. I don't know how to explain it. I just know that this is not something that you know, if you got to feed your family, you're not going to buy this knife. If you got to have, you know, food on the table, you're not going to buy a knife, a custom knife right now. You might only be able to afford a $10 knife, a $20 knife. You might be able to do that. You won't be able to support these guys right here. But if you're fed, like most of us in America, I mean, I don't know anybody dying from starvation. If you're in America, most of us have good jobs. Most of us, I mean, the employment rate is really, I mean, the unemployment rate is really low. I'm thankful for our economy. I know that we're going to be bouncing back. I know, just like the English people that I spoke about in the story earlier, they're resilient. The Americans are resilient. The South Africans are going to do whatever they take. They're going to be resilient. They're going to do whatever it takes to get through this tough time. I know they are. And you know what they're also going to do? They're going to help each other get through this tough time. They've already established that. I've already seen some of them. Hey, look, if you need this, you need that, you need. We're not. With the supply chain is breaking down. We don't have belts for this. Okay, well, you can borrow some of my belts until we get some more in. Let's work with each other. Tay says 21 days lockdown ahead. I'll be making knives flat out. What a privilege to work from home, supporting you guys as you support us. Yes, yes. Taze, we've already put some order in for knives from Taze. You don't see them on the website yet, but we got them coming in. So you got to keep tuning in, following, press that like button, press the follow button for us, so that when we get new stuff in, you can know. We want to be able to bring you guys the first, and we want y'all to know first, because y'all want to see stuff come through. But Taze is going to be resilient. Chun's is going to be resilient. George. Cozy. I'm talking about all the other guys too. Andre Thorburn and Niels Vandenberg and Stuart Smith and all of these guys. I mean, we have about 60 makers. Some of y'all, you know, it's not just a handful of makers now. We have about 60 makers, and I have a list behind this wall right here. It's behind the wall, but I have a list of all my makers, and I pray for them. I just pray for them. Hey, hey God, how can I help them every day? Give me ideas, give me thoughts. So when I wake up in the morning and I'm reading something else, I have a thought. Oh, here's what we can do. and we have it. And so I would like you. Hey, maybe you can't buy a knife right now. That's fine. But can you share this story with other makers? Can you give somebody a thumbs up, a like? Can you give them a follow? Can you help them? And then maybe one day you can support them. Maybe one day not only can you support them, but you can have an awesome custom knife, part of God's creation, slightly altered. And so that's what we're doing. That's what's going to happen. So the next few weeks, hopefully we'll be able to talk like this, and hopefully we'll be able to have some feedback. I saw a few other messages. I'm going to reply to you guys as I see fit. Somebody asked, what about the George Mueller front flippers you showed on Instagram? Never saw them show up on your site. That's because somebody bought them. So we actually had some front flippers, and you guys contacted us before we could ever get them on the website. And you said, hey, look, I like this knife. Can I buy it? The answer is yes, you can buy it. I want you guys to buy them before we even get them to the website. Honestly, it saves us time and effort. That's why we post pictures on Instagram and Facebook, because you guys are following us, and it's the fastest way to get stuff out to you guys. If it comes in, we'll do a Monday morning mail call, or we'll do an opening or something, a package opening. Say, hey, look, hey, here's what's happening. Here's what's new that's come in. And then you contact us and say, hey, look, well, I'd like to get that knife that I saw in the video. Perfect. We're fair. We're putting it out there right now. This is what we do. We try to sell knives as fast as possible. We try to get them up and but if you see something that's not on the website, just ask. Those knives were sold. In fact, I will say this, I have a couple of the front flippers that had some scratches, or had some issues with the anodizing on the zirconium or titanium. And so we do have some, can't carry in New York City. We have some that have kind of flaws in them. I've talked to George, but we're gonna have an issue now with like shipping them back and getting them back in, just because of all the stuff that's happening with the coronavirus stuff. So we might have to sell those at a little bit of a discount. But if you're interested, you contact us and you say, hey, look, I don't mind having a little scratch on the knife. I'm going to use it anyway. I mean, I'm not using it to collect it. You know, some of these guys are collectors, and they're going to want something primo, perfect. You know, like all the knives I see from Taze, when he comes in, when the knives come in, they're just immaculate and perfect. You know, but sometimes we'll have something just like happened last time. Something happened in shipping, a scratch on the knife. You know, and that's, if you go and look at the ones I just put in last week from Yako to Cock, we had to do that. There was some scratches on the bolster I couldn't do anything about. And for us to ship it, Yako said, look, just put a discount on it and give somebody a great deal. That's all we can do. And so if you're interested, you contact us and say, look, I saw this, do you have any more? And we'll let you know. And so that's what's going on here in Louisiana, in South Africa, and a little bit more. Hopefully you'll let me talk a little bit, rant and rave. I'm not trying to rant and rave. I'm just trying to tell you guys what the story is. And so these next couple weeks, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tell stories, hopefully sell a few knives, keep these makers at least moving, selling, flipping some knives. You might see us do a little bit of discounts on some stuff, just because we want to be able to make some cash flow. We want you to get good knives. We want them to be able to get money in hand so that they can buy more materials and keep moving while they're not being able to go to their main shop. A lot of these guys have a shop outside, and they're going to have to work from their home. So that's what's happening. If you have any questions, let us know. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you helping us. You helping us help makers. That's it. So we're thankful. We're thankful that God has you know, blessed us with an abundant life, and we're going to continue doing this until we can. So that's it. Y'all have a great week. I'll try to check in with you guys a little bit later this week. I'm at the office right now. I got a couple packages to ship. Hopefully I'll have a couple more to pack up and ship out later this week. Thursday or Friday I'll probably come in and do another shipment. and stay safe. Stay inside. Stay safe. Like I said before when I started off the stream, it's just me. We're running a skeleton crew. Just me at the office. I'm coming from home. I'm coming straight here. I'm shipping out stuff. I'm just dropping off packages. And you'll get an email saying that stuff was shipped and the tracking number and everything. So it should be really easy for y'all to do, to catch on to. And it'll be a little bit slower, and we're not shipping every day just because of the lockdown where we are. So appreciate you. We're gonna stay resilient. We're gonna be like, we're gonna have a stiff upper lip. How about that? I don't know how to have a stiff upper lip, but we're gonna have a stiff upper lip. That's we're gonna basically strengthen our resolve to do that and believe that this is what God's called us to do. We're thankful for y'all. Y'all have a great week. Stay safe.